am highly honored, highly elated. Um, in fact, words cannot express the joy and the fulfillment I feel, and of course, most importantly, the gratitude to Kabisi, the His Imperial Majesty, the Oni of Ife, for considering me worthy to actually accord this great honor to me, because I know there will be many who would want to be in that position. But he, by the grace of God, he has considered me worthy. I am grateful, greatly appreciated, and I assure him, that I'm going to give it my best. Everyone knows me. Whatever I do, I put all of my being and effort into it. And this, I'm going to make the Yoruba race proud, because it's not just, it goes beyond Nigeria. And whatever value we can attract to the Yoruba kingdom, we will leave no stone unturned.
You've also been associated with culture and tradition in Yoruba land for a very long time. How have you been able to do all of this? And since you came up as Erelu?
Well, I don't know. When you ask that question that way, I will probably say, well, maybe I have been ordained by God to do it. Because for me to have been in this arena of culture and tradition for well over 5 decades, it has to be the grace of God. To have sustained one, to have been able to give the best one can to it, with great difficulties, but with tremendous success. Even if I say so, so it has to be the grace of God. He must have also, of course, endowed me with the wisdom, capability, and a discerning mind to be able to wade through the hurdle and hustle and storm of religion, of culture, of life generally, and to be standing at this point in time. Really, I marveled myself as the grace that I have enjoyed to be able to continue to hold my head up till now. I just thank God, and I thank all the people I've come across in the world, including you, because you know we've gone through some storms together that have stood by me and have helped me along the way to get to where I am, and to be able to be recognized for this amazing honor. I see it as whatever terminology we want to use in the Yoruba language. I see it more as an ambassador of my people beyond our shores. And I pray and we do credit to it.
At the time you became Erelu in 1974, how did you adjust to the new responsibility that brought to you at that time?
Strangely enough, when I look back, I just saw it as a duty, and it didn't make any difference to my psyche. I don't know whether you've seen some of my interviews and all that. From the time I knew myself, maybe 2 years old, I found myself sitting at the foot of my grandmother, watching people praying to the Almighty with such devoutness, making me believe that this Supreme Being must be the ultimate. All these strong, successful women, they are all here every Friday, singing, praising Him with such concentration and devoutness. So for me, the grace of God, the knowledge of the mightiness of God has always been with me. So wherever I found myself, I just dive into it and give it my best. So when I was made Erelu, it was more for me a call to duty, because at that time, you didn't have the local government services in the palaces or in those areas. They were not like now. They give they maintain the palaces. You get some kinds of palliatives. They even get some sort of monetary consideration every month. It wasn't like that. So it is any of us who are interested, who contribute towards the maintenance, the upkeep, and sustenance of our palaces. And for me, from that young age, I've always been keenly aware of my tradition and my culture, keenly proud. So for me, doing anything for the palace, for the tradition or culture became norm. I would spend 1.5 of it for the cultural tradition and the sustenance of it, and be happy to spend half a penny for myself. So when I became Erelu, it was just a continuation of what I was used to doing. I didn't really realize the gravity that it entails some other, but so I was gently broken into my duties, the culture, the tradition. And I must say also, and thank the people that were chiefs of Lagos at that time, because I think the youngest must have been about in the 70s. So they were old wise men, and here is this young woman, very modern in her approach. And in fact, some of them were skeptical. They thought, oh, this one is going to bastardize the culture. But within the year, they all felt, this was some old woman from somewhere, because I actually was the one shaking them that they had to be more fastidious about upholding our tradition and culture, that our culture should not be seen as subservient to any other, should not be seen as illiterate, should not be seen as dirty, should not be seen as something derogatory. It should be something that we should all be proud of, because it is our identity. And it is the level we take it to that will now tell the world who we are. So for me, I think it has been, to that extent, it's been a beautiful journey. I just fell into it, and it did not, and there was no confusion about my belief in God and the goodness that the Almighty expects from His children. And I believe that all religion, including traditional religion, believe in the supremacy of the Almighty. That supreme being that we don't see, but we know He's there. The diviner that we don't see, we know He's there. And that we have to please Him and follow all the tenets that have been laid out to us. So, and when you believe that, you will not have confusion about religion. You will just know that we are all children of the Almighty, and there's always a clear difference between good and bad, and He expects us to do good. So that is the area that we must follow. But all of this has helped me through life, whether it's culture, it's religion, it's business, it's education, any kind of realities of life. Well, there's no, maybe a formula, but there's no magic, and there is no anything extraordinary than observing what I've just said before now. In all that you do, you must give your best. You must seek for excellence all the time. And I tell you, Nigeria is very tough. If you're not careful, you'll be turned into an iron lady when you are seeking for excellence from the bottom up, from domestic to colleagues to, when you seek for excellence, it's not easy, but there's no other way. In life, we must all strive for excellence. And in striving for excellence, we must also observe equity, justice, love of your neighbor. And that could be most difficult, because most labors these days is like everyone is trying to get one above the other, and you have to love that person. Even if you don't love such a person, but you still must see them as your brother from the same Father Almighty. So even if you feel angered and bitter, it's tempered. Your action will be tempered with that belief. So you have to be constantly aware that there's life after this, and you are accountable to the Almighty with what you do. So I think I have always observed that. I try not to hurt anybody, to try and forgive as much as I can. There's definitely no guile or vendetta in me, because once you have guile and vendetta, it destroys your humanity. Anybody who carries guile, vendetta, malice, it destroys your humanity, and your humanity is your safety guard that keeps you on the straight and narrow path. Once you have humanity, you will always try so hard for excellence, and for love of neighbor, meaning do to me as I do to you. And since I don't want you to do ill to me, I must strive not to do the same to you. And you see, what I'm saying may sound mundane to some people, but believe me, it's the essence of life. It's the essence of successful life. When I say successful, not in terms of material things, but in peace of mind, in being able to sleep well at night, in being able to some extent to have good health, and in good and in essence of having good relationship with other people. Because you see, you just must try to have good relationship. Where you have bitterness and all that, God help you. You're going to bad health, you can't sleep well, you are constantly unhappy, you are constantly avoiding to speak to somebody. That's a waste of time and a waste of life. Nobody's an angel, nobody's perfect, but we must continue to strive for good, for excellence, for peaceful coexistence with everybody around us. That's the way it should be. And if we do that, in Nigeria, God has endowed us mercifully, bountifully. And if we exhibit this kind of love and comradeship and companionship, can you imagine where we will be? There's enough to go around for everybody, but we've got to have human milk of kindness. Because if we have kindness, if our leaders have kindness, they will think of the downtrodden. Our vision will be sharper. Our imagination will be sharper to find solutions, to alleviate the sufferings of the masses. It just takes love and excellence. Excellence. Wanting to achieve, wanting to better the situation from the way it is to the next level. And that's excellence. If I'm sitting here, it's comfortable here, how do I now move from here to the next level? I'm going to now strive for excellence to get there. Not by pilfering, by gazumping other people, by just being unfair to others. Because and if you achieve it that way, it's not going to last. And if it should last, it will not give you joy. Because most of the time you are trying to hide it anyway. Because once it leaks out, you're done for. So I don't believe in utopia, but I believe in good breeding and equity and justice, because I believe that's where we all be able to live in peace and enjoy with one another. And it should not be that difficult, because we have everything in abundance. We just need to redistribute it properly, equitably, and fairly. New people we are trying to bring on board, we will imbibe this quality, for a better Nigeria.
The last time I had a media interview with you, Mark, was when you turned 70. And I remember that the question I also asked at that time is how you've been able to keep looking beautiful and fashion and style. And I still notice that has also been very consistent. So I'm wondering, what does it take from you, Mark, to continue to do this radiant year in, year out?
Short of sounding like a broken record, everything I've been saying is supposed to result in peace of mind. Look, I can't tell you I have any special secret, except that, of course, I pay attention to myself. I try to maintain a good standard of cleanliness, of extra medical support that people of my age need, so you don't get too careless. Not that you take any excessive medication, but there are certain things you have to do. You have to exercise, you have to eat right, you have to sleep well, you have to strive so hard to be in a state of stability and peace of mind. I mean, I can assure you, you look at me, you probably say, oh, she looks okay. But there are still so many things that I want in my life. But that's not going to be at the front burner of my life. If it comes, wonderful. If it does not come, whatever God is giving me, I'm grateful. This is a whole combination of lifestyle. that keeps you going and well and all that. And when you're well and you have peace in your heart, you continue to be imaginative in your lifestyle, in your style and your appearances and all that. If you're not well, if you're unhappy, you won't even care about how you look. You'll be chasing after what you cannot catch rather than being grateful with what you have. So I think a whole lot of that is predicated on contentment, being grateful for what God and life has given you, and not undue race and stress for what you do not have. Because you see, a lot of us that want to be like the Joneses, and we will stress and strive and do whatever it takes just to be like them, rather than finding contentment in what we are and where we are. Because at the end of the day, I always say to people, wherever you are, the Almighty knows you are there, and He will come there to meet you and add value to your life, even where you are. And your neighbors and the people will recognize you for it. What am I? Who am I? What have I done? I'm only enjoying the grace of God and contentment for what He's done for me. And all religion will tell you, if you show gratitude and you are contented, you will get more. We have our own proverb. You must be constantly grateful to the Almighty for whatever you find yourself, because He's your Father. He knows what you need. He may not give you all that you ask, because He probably thinks you don't need it. But whatever you need, if you are consistent and you are faithful and you are grateful, He will always add more to you, to your life, And I basically, these are my principle of life. I'm not just saying it. This is what I strive to observe every day of my life. And most importantly, every day that I wake up, when I have plenty, I don't want to sit down and eat it. I don't want to hoard it until it is spoiled. I share it with people. I like to share. If that's my way of giving joy, whatever I have, I want to share it with other people. That has become a second nature to me. I guess I also grew up watching my parents, my grandparents just giving. My grandmother just loves cooking and feeding people. And that also, people who don't even know, I love to do that. So, I think when you are kind and you love people, kindness will come to you. I go out. Here you are. I've known you all these years. Why would I want to be nasty to you? If you offend me, I'm not that's good or that's whatever. If you offend me, I must tell you straight away. And once I clear my mind, that's it. You may begrudge me forever, but you can be sure that with me it's over, it's finished. I see you again as being made by God and my neighbor, and I still will be kind to you. I would never go out of my way to do anything to hurt you because you hurt me before. Once it's over, it's over. And if you cannot, it doesn't come automatically. It's something that develops over time because you want it to be so. If you want to be excellent in your ways, you have to practice it every day. You have to be constantly working at it. People, sometimes when I say this, people laugh. I say, the colonialists came and they captured us, they captured our minds, our culture, our resources by indoctrination, constantly pounding it in our head that they are better, they can do for us. And with time, our psyche was captured. And I say, for us, we can use the same instrument to change the psyche of our people for good, for excellence. If you keep repeating, and that is what you do, and it's the same thing you do to reorientate yourself for good by saying, I want to be good. I want to be good. Every day I want to be excellent. I want to be to acquire excellence. If you keep striving every day, with time it becomes a lifestyle. And we have to do it. I think most people should try it. Just don't do it one day and go to sleep. You have to wake up every day. Someone will come into a place like this and say, oh, it's clean. And it's someone like me will come in and say, what is it? You haven't cleaned this place today. And the person will be wondering why. Because I have touched the table and I've seen a speck of dust. And therefore, it means you have not done it today. Even if it is just the dust it gets better. And that is the same principle we must apply to ourselves as human beings. You have to look good all the time. You have to bath every day. You have to wash your hair. You have to clean your nails. If you don't do it, who cares? But for you, for yourself, for your own well-being, you need to do it. And you need to do it every day to become a norm. I don't think people who do all these things every day, I don't think they wake up thinking about it. They've already created time in their mind, in their calendar, that routine has to be done before I do any other things, or within the space where you have slotted it. So it's the same thing about achievements in life. Just be fastidious, dedicated, do what you believe is right on daily basis, not once in a year. Not like politicians, after the election they go to sleep. So 1 year, a few months to the election, they come out and they start shouting and they expect us to believe in them. In that 4 years, in between, what have you done? Have you continued to go around the whole country, ingratiating yourself with the people, letting them know who you are, letting them trust you? So by the time you come out, they already know that, yes, we know that this one, we can trust this one. Not wait till the last minute and then think you can buy the people to give you support. That kind of support doesn't work. It just makes us weak people who will continuously live in abject poverty, because you are ruling the people you don't know, the people who you are ruling don't know you. So how do you formulate policies to alleviate their problems, to sufferings? How do you yourself know what the capabilities of this man is to be able to ask him and say, this is what we want, this is what should be done? Maybe what you want, by the time you ask him, he's not capable or equipped to do it for you because you don't know him. So we really need to stop all this childishness. We need to wake up and know that seeking for excellence is the way to do in everything. I want to be a politician. I want to strive for government. I have to be excellent in my understanding of the job I want to do. I must know the people I want to do. I must know what they need from me. I must know that when I'm elected, when I get there, it's not just my own, what do they call it? Manifesto. It is the requirement of the people, the aspiration of the people. They all come out and say manifesto. How did you come about it? From what experience? From what input? From whose interest? The people, the ones by the riverine that nobody even believes they exist? Definitely. I always mark my birthday every year. And because my children, I love birthdays. So as a youngster, I will always look forward to my birthday because you get a new dress, you get new everything and lots of food for you, your friends and others. So birthdays have always been interesting. But so with my parents, they know and they do it. And then you get married, you know your spouse is always interested in your birthday because you're always interested in it. So I always celebrate my birthdays, but usually more with my friends, my close friends, my family, my children, and then now my grandchildren. And landmark ones, yes, I would do a big ceremony. I've had a beautiful collection of birthday ceremonies in different parts of the world and of course in Nigeria. But I don't have big parties every time to celebrate my birthday. But landmarks, 50, 60, 70, yes, 80, although this particular one might be big in the sense that it's coinciding with the reception to mark the appointment Kabiyesi has magnanimously extended to me. But the main celebration is really the celebrating the joy of the title that has been extended to me.
Then I also want to know how you've been able to sustain your love for white. That has also not dropped over the years, and I'm wondering, because I know how challenging it can be to sustain and to keep looking stylish in the same color year in, year out?
Well, so that's perhaps as a result of being in a state of well-being, if that makes sense. Constantly being in a state of well-being, because when your mind is sharp, is active and all that, you will continue and seeking for excellence again. You, every time you come out with my white, I don't want to bore them today, with my white, so I have to make it interesting, so that people looking at me will not say, oh, she's come with this her dreary white, so they have to look at, she's come with this white again, look at this style again. So it has to be just seeking for excellence and using your imagination to also please other people. It's still the same love of neighbor. I don't want to bore you. I want you to be happy with me. So I think it's a whole lot of a versatile, imaginative mind. That's what keeps my white stylish. And the white thing, I'm just so used to it. I'm so used to it that I feel that any other color wouldn't do. But contrary to what people say, it's just that I love white. And long before I was made Erelu, I've always worn white. Sisi Shade Thomas Farm will tell you that as a teenager, she would make loads of white attire, very stylish, of course, adequate for a young person. But I've always gravitated to white and pastel colors. So, and it's because I love it, so I make effort to keep it nice. And even if I'm using the same thing, recycling to be worn, I still invest in pastel and homo and to whiten them and keep them in good state, because white can be very disloyal, because once it goes when it goes grubby and sometimes you wash it in bad water and they look discolored and funny. So you have to be constantly aware of giving it the right treatment, because it's not everything that I wear that is new every day. I'm just using them over, but you have to sustain and maintain them. And if you have to bleach, you bleach your clothes, and you just need to strive to make it white, because once a bit discolored, it's not so nice.
Let's talk about designs now. How do you come up with designs for your designer in terms of this fabric, do this with it, do this? Because I know that I don't know if you still do all of that now.
Oh yeah, I still wear it and I still do it. In fact, sometimes when I look at some of the pictures, I just imagine, is that me? And I will say, well, but I didn't go there, because I think that's part of the joy of life, that people emulate what you do. It means you are doing something right. But for me, my designing, well, I've always been in designing. Forget, I opened a shop in Bond Street in London to promote the traditional ashoke and all that. When I see a material, and I meditate on it, the right style for that material will come to my head. I think it's really the material that does the prompting for me when I design my outfit. I try to design my outfits from a material by enhancing the beauty of that material. You can have a material and try to make it into a tight dress, but you may not see the full glory of that material in that. Maybe it is when you make it flowy that the actual beauty of it will come out and the magnificence of it will be seen. And in other cases, that when you make it flowy, it doesn't mean much. So you try and make it fitted and do it in such a way that even your body enhances the material too. So it's a whole lot to designing, from the fabric, from the body of the wearer, from the coloring of the wearer, from different things. For instance, some occasions I would not want to wear sharp white, because I also wear slightly off white, like champagne color. That for me is also because the occasion that I go to will also determine the style that I want to wear, the fabric that I want to wear, and the tones of the white tones that I want to wear, and that would also determine the style of the fabric. So, and when you do that constantly, you find that your styles are new all the time. It's not much effort, but you have to continue to want to create that change yourself, and the imagination will come, and the styles will come.
No, I like this photograph, and I wanted to know when you took it and what, how long ago, and at what event.
That is a long time ago. It's definitely over 50 years. Yes, I must have been about 26 or something. So, no, maybe about 26, 27. I must have been about around 27 or so. It's about 50 years. And I remembered that Ashoke, you can see when I said, we're only doing 4 primary colors at that time, 50 years ago, we're not doing all these colors. And then that was when I started working on the Ashoke, to change it from the 4 primary colors of Alari, Sonyo, Fu, Olowu Dudu. Those were the 4 primary colors we had. That was when I had already started working on giving it another Ashoke, another look. And this, I actually, you can see it's a different color from the traditional colors. And my husband was giving, in fact, there's a beautiful photograph where he wore it, was giving a title, I think, in Ife, as Woye Leri of Ife by Kabiyesi Oba, the third remove. Oba Kabiyesi Oni Oba Aderemi, yes. So we wanted to go and celebrate, and we didn't want the usual Ashoke that we were using. And I had a whole treasure of Ashoke from my grandmother. Amazing design, this sort of designs and all that, in blue. And some of them were a good combination of blue, of Alari and red and Sonyo, So I just decided, that's it. I went to my weaver, one Alaja Obitayo, said, I want you to make Ashoke for me, colors of the rainbow. And this is the first one that came out. So, and then after doing that, my husband felt it came out so well. And this photograph was actually taken in Harrods in the UK. There used to be a beautiful section in Harrods there. It doesn't exist anymore, where you can just go and take beautiful portrait photographs and all that. And quite a number of Nigerians patronize it. And when you go to their homes, you will know that this one was taken from the shops in Harrods, the UK. So that was the beginning of my revolutionizing the Ashoke. And by the time I got all the colors, that's when I opened the shop in London. Somebody was still telling me that, some of the things I bought from you, I still have them till today. And that was ages ago. I opened the shop in 82?
If you're not attending events and functions, what else? What do you do in your leisure time?
Leisure. Well, so if it's my leisure, before I used to play the piano, play music, any opportunity to dance. I would, I don't dance much at parties, but when I do my own little gathering at home, I dance a lot. My friends will tell you that when I have parties at home, and I used to entertain a lot of diplomats when they were here in Lagos. When they arrived, it was opportunity to have a party to welcome them, or a party to send them off. So it gives you opportunity to dance. So I used to entertain a lot. Small gatherings of business partners who come to visit, or diplomats. So I would probably say that was more a recreation for me when I entertain my friends, because I think I enjoy the parties more than they do themselves. So it gives me a lot of relief. And then, of course, I play music privately. I walk. I play tennis. I read, especially at night. It got to a stage that if I don't read at night, I can't sleep. And then, but now that one is much older, I do less of those things. But I also watch television, because there are some programs that I enjoy. And now, it used to be channels. But in the mornings, I do Arise. Because all the breaking news, you hear it on the Arise TV. And after lunchtime, you go back to the old faithful, the channels entry and things. So I watch because I reduce a bit of my outings, and to get to know what is happening, you need to listen to the news. So I do watch TV and catch on the news, and then of course still read my newspaper, still read my book. And when I'm really, really tired and I really want a nice holiday, I link up with my grandchildren. They're fantastic, and we go to nice places, and I just feel like one of them. And feeling like a young person also helps you in your gray matters and in your well-being. And thank God they are all big boys, big girls now. The last sets of them are well, not look at the sets before the last. Some have left university, some are about to leave. I have them in Ivy League universities, Oxford, Cambridge, LSE. So that's also a wonderful therapy, for fulfilled life. When your children are done well, your grandchildren are doing well, and you are content with what God has done for you. So it's also
any regrets?
Me, I'd be ungrateful to God if I say I have any regret, because I have no regrets. That doesn't mean I didn't have my own highs and lows and gone through the storms of life, but I still thank God for my life, for me, for what is done for me, for my environment, for my friends, for my family. I will continue to ask God for more, because I'm happy and I'm grateful for what is done for me, and I have no regrets, because even the tough points have made me come out stronger and better equipped to handle life, and that's a fact. Every little thing that has happened, at the end of it all, I always learn a lesson. So for me, yes, I just thank God for my life and have no regret at all. Even the hardship, they were meant to teach me a lesson. Because each time when you hear there is light at the end of the tunnel, it is a fact. Every time, I need to say this, every time that I have experienced challenges or difficulties, at the end of it all, the Almighty comes through for me. He makes me realize that, because I found myself in a better position at the end of it. And I believe that was his own way of taking me to the next level, by not giving it on a platter of gold, but in a way that is beneficial, that you will learn to handle the next stage. No, I have no regrets. I just thank God for my life.
Are you working on any projects?
Well, talk to my children. They say, we don't know what is wrong with that. I'm constantly working on projects. And my foundation headquarters, all I had before were little bungalows and all that. Now I'm striving to make it into a world-class museum and a destination place for research students, from different parts of the world, for the African culture. And of course, vocational, any adding value to the lives of young people, dropouts, and girl child, and even adults, where I can attract just support and value to their lives, that they know that once they enter the portal of that place, they will come out better and with hope. I can never stop. That project, the finding succor and empowering the riverine, the poorest of the poor, of the dwellers in the riverine areas of our country. because the indigenous people are usually the ones living in the riverine areas, and they are usually the poorest of the poor, almost forgotten people. Those are the people that and I'm still looking for help, because I just have a simple formula, a very simple formula for that. That, whatever they are doing now, let us enhance their skill so that they can produce it. It can be a better production in terms of value and quality. And even if it's just that the riverine person is a swimmer, teach him how to swim properly, so that in fact you can export him out as a lifeguard to tourism destinations of the world. So you can imagine his earning capacity. He already knows how to swim, just enhance it and give him the equipment and give him the exposure. If it is mat making, why can't you upgrade the quality of that mat making? It's still organic material, it's still locally produced, but it can be done in a mechanized way, and you can find greater markets. Just little things like that. That's what we're doing in our riverine areas, but there's just the tip of the iceberg of what we're doing. We still need a lot of support. We reach out to government, to people, to give my foundation support, to be able to do more. Because there is nowhere in Nigeria you don't have some dwellers by the riverine. Even the landlocked area, the riverine people are not too far away from them. So, that is some group of people taken out of the labor market by enhancing their skill and enhancing their earning capacities.